Greetings, group 3. All right. Ain't gonna waste no time. Gonna go ahead and get right into the specificities of y'all cards. And as I said, for this first layout, we are focusing on divinely designed elements of y'all solar plexus chakra that y'all have been wrongfully demonizing. And when we say divinely designed, we are referring to elements that are directly linked to your divine identity and your divine purpose. And without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. So I asked, what of those divinely designed elements of y'all solar plexus chakra have y'all been wrongfully demonizing? And across the board, we have you and your loved ones are safe. That is new moon in Cancer. It is sideways. We then have the unconscious card right next to it. Okay, going from left to right, that is. Then we have the action card to the right of that one. And over to the furthest right of them, you are getting very close to your goals. That is the gibbous moon, and it is also sideways. So overall, this spread is giving very counterproductive moon energy. So the good thing about that is there is a lot of channeling of like psychic energy. However, it's lying dormant due to the lot of you having like a fear of it, a fear of owning it, a fear of practicing it, standing in it, things of that nature. So that's the reason why it's polluting y'all's solar plexus and having such a drastic effect. And specifically speaking, because those particular elements, like the elements of being psychic and having spiritual gifts of that nature, usually would be associated with the third eye and or the crown chakra, and at times and for specific things, perhaps even the sacral chakra. However, like I said, the reason why this is showing up in a spread about y'all's solar plexus is because y'all's confidence surrounding y'all's third eye and crown chakra, maybe even the sacral, all of that is teetering. So, in simple terms, it's like for a lot of you, y'all solar plexus is polluting your third eye and your crown chakra, and or maybe even stagnating, holding your third eye and your crown chakra back, because a lot of you seem to be afraid to release your grasp on logic. Y'all are afraid to embrace the concept that there are times and places to not be logical. And that it doesn't have to be based in logic in order for it to be correct. So an affirmation that is coming up for a lot of you, it is a solar plexus affirmation, and it is, I release my grasp on the need and desire to always be right. I release my grasp on the need and desire to always be in control. I allow myself to divinely embrace uncertainty, and I allow myself to divinely embrace clarity. All right, so I hope y'all are able to jot those down or screen record them if you need to, whatever would have you, and are able to make the best and the most of them, okay? So let's kind of dabble in these one by one. Starting with the first card over to the left of them. You and your loved ones are safe. It is the new moon in Cancer. So what I'm getting from this immediately is that a lot of you are avoidant of y'all's emotions. Even though there is not a lot of orange that is present in the imagery of the cards, the only little pop of orange I see is the man who is conducting the horse and carriage is wearing an orange shirt. That's about like the only pop of orange I see there. There may be hues of orange in the woman's headpiece in the unconscious card. But that is divinely designed because y'all sacral chakra seems to be underactive, okay? So it seems like there are a lot of emotions just stuffed up in y'all, just sitting there going bonkers like a pinball machine on the inside of you. And so there's a fear of emotions here, and which is given that with this, it gives that y'all's sacral chakra is polluting y'all's solar plexus chakra, because it seems as though y'all's sacral chakra is angry with you all. It is mad that y'all are not giving it enough attention. Y'all are not allowing yourselves to truly embrace freedom, elements of leisure, sweetness, passion, creativity, and simply allowing yourself to be and to process your emotions. Cancer is also one of the most prominent psychic signs, one of them, and they are associated with the moon. I believe Cancer is ruled by the moon, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering that correctly, because sometimes I get it a little crossed up between Cancer and Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. However, Pisces is heavily associated with the dream realm, so that's why sometimes I get them crossed up. But with that said, that confirms to me, to my knowledge and understanding, again, I can confirm after this, so y'all can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but Cancer is ruled by the moon. Thing about Cancer, and the reason why that card is sideways, is because while Cancer is one of the most psychic signs, the shadow part of Cancer, and therefore the primal side, the earthy side, which would be that is the crab, the nature of the crab, is very fearful. Crabs are afraid of everything, and practically sometimes they can also be even afraid of themselves, afraid of their own strength, afraid of their own habitat, because they function in the mentality that they never can tell who or what is out to get them. And that's also because a crab's experience in life is to be prey amongst cleaning up toxicity and absorbing toxicity from a multitude of different things and beings. A part of their major experience in life is to be prey for a multitude of different types of beings, and the environments that they live in and things of that nature and other things that they do puts them in very vulnerable positions a lot. So even if it's something that's not out to eat them, they could find themselves in a multitude of different positions where they may end up being crushed. Certain types of crabs, might lose their shell or grow out of their shell, have a hard time finding another one. All types of different things that crabs have to go through. And so Cancer people tend to have similar experiences in life, and people who have strong Cancer placements tend to have similar experiences in life, particularly in their younger years, where they have a lot of experiences of people preying on them and or having them be the ones that clean up everybody's mess and or absorb everybody's toxicity all the damn time. And then by the time the Cancer placements grow up, they experience a different level of freedom that either one, they end up getting drunk on, and or they are so drastically afraid of that they don't make the most and the best of it. So all of that being said, again, the reason why the card has come out sideways is because y'all are having to learn how to let other people clean up their own mess, and how to use your gift of knowing, your gifts of knowing, of perception, of discerning, of being resolution oriented, and all of that. Y'all are having to learn how to better perceive who and where to give that energy to, who and where to give that wisdom to, and the time and the places to, like I said, let other people clean up their own messes, let them do their own jobs, let them play their own role. And if they fall, let them pick themselves up. Because it seems as though a lot of y'all sense of confidence and courage, and specifically as it ties into y'all trying to do for yourselves, y'all trying to tend to your own stuff and launch your own stuff off the ground and get your own stuff stable. Y'all get wrapped up in this anxiety of like, oh my God, but are they gonna be okay? Is my mama gonna be okay? Is my kids gonna be okay? Is my sister, my family, my cousins, are all of them gonna be okay? Are they gonna be able to survive if I turn my phone off? If I take this trip overseas for the entire summer, is everybody gonna be able to survive without me? And Spirit is wanting you to allow yourself to embrace the journey, to learn how to be okay and be at peace within yourself regardless. One, to know that you and your loved ones are safe regardless. But also, even if something happens, you and your loved ones are going to be okay. Because there's a need to bring in the knowing of Spirit's unconditional faith in you and your divine path. So as long as y'all are maintaining unconditional faith in yourself and your higher self, God is going to meet y'all halfway. And now we hop over to the furthest rights of them, which is you're very close to achieving your goal. You're very close to achieving your goal, which is the gibbous moon. Now, it has come out sideways as Spirit is communicating when it comes to y'all tending to y'all's own stuff. Y'all tend to get it up, revved up real good. Your consistency, your pace, your flowing and everything be real good. And then something happens, and right when y'all are knocking on the door of completion, y'all stop. Or either y'all sabotage it, or y'all allow someone to sabotage it, or something of the sort. And I want to be clear on what Spirit is indicating, like what that means about y'all allow someone to sabotage it. So and a channeling vision that they are giving me is that someone or some people is dealing with an ongoing relationship or relationships where you keep wanting that person to like make it to the top with you. Whatever it is that you achieve, like you really want to, like you always imagine that once you achieve these things, they're going to be right there next to you, clapping for you, and you're going to be able to share that blessing with them and all of that. And so each time you achieve something or something of the sort, you have something to celebrate, you do everything that you can to include that person. But it seems like it becomes this thing where you end up investing so much energy in trying to include this person that you yourself end up ruining your own good time and your own celebration, and or making your own celebration about them, and or that person like gets a kick out of that in one way or another. If they show up, they do shit to make it all about them or to sabotage the event, and or if they don't show up, it's to also get attention and make it all about them because they want for you to be bothered and to spend the time of your event kind of sulking and fuming on the inside, and or talking about them to other people, and people asking, why such and such not here? Why your bestie not here? Why your brother not here? Why your sister not here? Why your such and such not here? They get a kick out of that. I'm hearing this is a narcissist, and it's someone that you are really needing to let go, and y'all know that y'all need to let them go. Y'all have had every sign and signal to cut this person out of y'all's lives, but for whatever reason, y'all can't seem to shake it. And so it's giving that this is karmic, and not as a punishment, but I'm hearing for some of you it is like a generational pathology. It's some type of connection that has shown itself in many generations in y'all's family. So for example, and this could apply to some people, but this is also just an example that I'm bringing up. For example, if domestic violence and or intimacy partner violence has been a pattern in your family dynamics one way or another, like if your parents had a violent relationship, or a plethora of your aunts and uncles have had violent relationships, and a lot of your cousins have violent relationships, your grandma's great grandparents and all of that, it's a consistency of violent relationships amongst the family. That's a generational pathology. Or even take that to, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical violence. It can be, you notice a pattern of your family members running after people who mean them no good, but the people who be right in front of them all the time, that's always doing for them, always, giving them the best and trying to bring the best out of them, they tend to neglect and ignore those people, if not demonize them altogether. If that's like a consistency amongst your family, that's also like something that can be considered a pathology. Another word for it could be curse, a generational curse, if you will. But yes, if that particular message applies to you about having that, reoccurrent saboteur connection with a narcissist and or narcissist, then y'all definitely need to cut that person off. But the reason why it's been so hard is because it is karmic. It's a generational pathology, and or because some of you may fit in like the family generational pathology element, and then some of you may fit into where this is a pathology of your spirit throughout multiple lifetimes. So it could be a generational pathology in that way, that your spirit has experienced multiple generations of lifetimes in this particular realm, and constantly experiencing that same cycle, likely with the same spirit of that person or people that you're dealing with now in this lifetime. They may have different bodies, just as you have a different body in this lifetime, but they are the same spirit and you are the same spirit. One way or another, there are certain evolutions, certain things that remain the same. And so you're being met at a crossroads positioning. And interestingly enough, there is a card up here that has a crossroads imagery, right? So y'all are coming up to a crossroads situation where you're being given an opportunity to evolve your spirit by cutting off that cycle with that other spirit or those other spirits that you keep having this toxic cycle with. And now we get to the Santa Muerte Oracle cards. And the first one we're starting off with is the number 23, the unconscious card. Now you put the number 2 and 3 together and you get the number 5, which is a number of drastic change. The number 2 is a number of love, a number of duality, as well as a number of teamwork. The number 3 is a number of divine purpose, and it gives more like dream teamwork in the number 3's particular element of teamwork. Dream team work. It is also the number of alchemy, and can also be referred to as the number of holy trinities. So before I get into some of the elaboration from the book, a channeling that I'm getting from this card from y'all, this unconscious card, that is, again, the need to learn how to maintain your sense of peace in the midst of what may seem or feels like chaos, or maybe even what is chaos, and a need to grasp the understanding of the purpose of chaos for the sake of peace. Okay, another element of this is y'all need rest, not just sleep. Y'all need rest. Y'all need a break. Y'all need like a rehabilitation period deeply. Y'all need deep tissue massages. Y'all need pampering. Y'all need really severe and drastic tender love and care, and y'all are needing yourselves to take hold of the reins vigorously and make that happen. Demand that happen for yourselves. Declare unto the universe that that is something that you need, that you desire, and that you are, beyond the shadow of a doubt, ready to embrace for yourself. And make that a habitual thing that you declare, so that you can make it, work towards making it a habitual thing that you do for yourself. Because especially if you do have strong water sign placements, or even strong Leo placements, and I'm also picking up Taurus and Virgo placements. Those are particular energies that attract and absorb a lot of energy, both light and dark, toxic, all of that. So those particular energies, people with those particular sign placements, and particularly very strong placements, the spiritual hygiene, the need and the consistency of spiritual hygiene is more needed than other signs and or energy placements. Those are the main signs that people and, other energies love to source from, drain from, project on, target, trauma dump on, all that good shit. But due to the divinity of those signs are also magnets for light, prosperity, great opportunities, divinity, and all of that. So that's why people with those particular sign placements, particularly in strong placements, have to be very spiritually hygienic so that you can better decipher what energy you're choosing and also what energy you're letting in and out. The process of both taking in and releasing, and knowing the time and places for all of these things. Those signs are also the most intuitive signs. So people who have those sign placements in very strong places, particularly sun, moon, rising, and Venus specifically, and or Mercury specifically, and or Lilith specifically, those people tend to have the most and or very strong psychic abilities. That being said, let's get into the description from Le Book. This card, directly influenced by the moon, represents the unconscious, which is to say the treasure chest of images that come from our own experiences, into which thoughts, instincts, and emotions or behavior models flow and are influenced in turn by this part of our minds that we are unaware of. It is the passage between the spiritual and physical planes, intrinsically connected to dreams. Okay, so this particular card, as like I pinpointed and mentioned, we have the new moon in Cancer. And I did also mention Pisces amongst the water signs in general. I did also mention Pisces as well. So here we have the Pisces energy repeated and pinpointed through this card as we get into, the dream realm of things specifically. This psychic dimension is also in contact with all the aspects that come from collectiveness and with the primary, innate, and archetypal aspects that originate in the world of emanations. The advice of the dead: trust your intuition even if this seems to counter reason and rationality. So just real quick, what I'm getting from that description as well is I'm seeing a lot of you having a lot of experiences of arguing with people endlessly, trying to prove your point, trying to explain your position, trying to explain your ideals, trying to convince them and really get them to see your point and see things the way that you see it. And Spirit is saying, stop verbalizing these things to people. One, because for some of you, people are feigning ignorance so that they can steal your ideas. They're feigning ignorance knowing that you're going to go on and on and on trying to explain yourself, trying to get them to see the point. And in your mind, you're just trying to help them understand. But in their mind, they are jotting down all of your fucking ideas and they are plotting to run off on the plug. So keep that in mind for some of you, and for others of you, this is a village, that village that you're having to constantly over explain things to in such a way. That's not your village. For some of you, you're having to realize that it's you that just needs to snap yourself out of that functionality. That perhaps there aren't people around you now that are holding you to these different standards or putting you under this pressure, but you're so used to it that now you do it to yourself. And so you're having to come to a realization and get some rest so that you can see things clearer, to detangle yourself from that functionality. And again, this has been said, but it's being reiterated here through this card and everything, that a lot of you do have psychic spiritual abilities, specifically by way of your dreams. For some of you, this could be prophetic dreams. For some of you, this could be your different dimensions of yourself speaks to you through your dreams and gives you guidance on what to do and how to do it within your divine purpose. For others of you, you may get past life visions and like warnings and things of that nature, and or pregnancy messages, death messages, money messages, things of that nature, just like messages in general that may come through your dreams. So, it could apply to all of those, could apply to you, or you could fit into any other group, or it could apply to you in some other unique way that is specific to you. And so in order to decipher that and get in where you fit in, definitely do your meditation and definitely do what you need to do to actually get some rest. Not just sleep, but actual rejuvenating, revitalizing, replenishing rest. And then with that, in your meditations and in your sleep, and when you get your channelings and things of that nature, it'll become more and more clear to you how your spiritual gifts apply to you and how you are meant to apply them. Finally, we are getting into the action card. And the number on there is 28. So we got that good old number 2 again. And we got the number 8, which is the number of infinity. It is also a number of home, representing, the sense of home. Home matters, family matters, not just blood relatives, but soul family, soul village, soul mates, twin flames, things of that nature. And especially next to the number 2, that energy is enhanced. And you put the number 2 and 8 together, you get the number 10, which enhances all of that energy once again, with that number 0 being there, okay, which is the number of divinity. You got the number 1 there, which is a number of independence, new beginnings, and celebration. The number 10 as a whole is a number of celebrations as well, okay? So that's giving us good signs, letting us know that y'all are very close to reaching y'all's goal, okay? So that message like reiterates itself by way of the angel number energy. And when this card comes out, it comes out with like major warnings and messages about not getting stuck in the past and not allowing other people and things to pull you back. This usually represents someone or some people who have been on a very long committed journey of edifying themselves, of changing and evolving themselves and building themselves up, trying to make a name for themselves and a path and a purpose and all of that, generational wealth and everything for themselves. And it's getting to a point where it seems like you've gotten so far and where you at, and you know that, once again, you're very close to your goal. And as close as you are to your goal, it seems like people and things are just popping up, trying to grab a hold of you and pull you back, bringing that toxic Cancer energy back up, such as crabs in a bucket. Crabs in a bucket that try to pull you down, pull you back into the gutter as you are trying to elevate and liberate. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and read from the book. This extremely dynamic card pushes you to continue your actions, especially in the direction of a specific choice that you will see illuminated by the sun. You have obtained good results, but you must understand which direction to take them in. No work can become great, positive, and universal if one does not constantly act to bring it and spread it in the world. In case of a deadlock, it will be necessary to project oneself towards the future and understand where the present's problems come from, perhaps by reconsidering the actions of the past. The advice of the dead. You have the necessary baggage on your shoulders to face the new adventure before you. Do not fear and proceed without giving the problems of the past too much importance. Nah. Simply stated, that just reiterated a whole lot of what I just said in the channeling of that card, House of Never. Along with that, it also gives y'all, okay, so y'all may have a lot of experiences and have had a lot of experiences where you're like, oh my gosh, can people please just stop fucking being stupid? Can they please just leave me the fuck alone? Can people please stop fucking doing this every goddamn time? I get good at what I'm doing. I get so close to what I'm trying to do, get so close to my goal, and people just start fucking people and like, what the fuck? Can people please just fucking stop? So feelings definitely valid. Feelings definitely felt like a mug. However, Spirit is saying that some of these things Spirit allows to extract the sense of urgency, passion, and the sense of adamancy about yourself. Because Spirit is saying that y'all have a sense of adamancy and vigor when it comes to other people and helping them with their stuff and all out down there living their lives for them. But when it comes to applying that same adamancy and vigor to your stuff, to your goals, something in you doesn't feel like it's worth it enough. Something in you doesn't feel like you're worth the while. And so Spirit is calling y'all to step vigorously into the position of, for example, the individual driving the horse and carriage. He holds the reins. Yes, the horses are, responsible for giving the carriage motion, but it's that conductor that gets up there and does what he does to guide them to do what they do and steers them in the direction to go. And so it also gives that a lot of you are having to come to a conclusion where not only y'all allow people to teach y'all how to fish, because it gives, y'all have just been thrown in water and told to swim. Just thrown in water and told, don't die. Make it back to the surface. Make it back to shore. And y'all don't know how y'all do it. Nobody knows how y'all do it. But one way or another, y'all find y'all way back to shore. And that's beautiful. That's great. That's the divine gifts that was bestowed upon y'all. House of Never. Y'all don't deserve to have to always have crash courses of that nature. And so that's what Spirit is trying to get y'all to realize and declare for yourselves, that y'all deserve tenderness too. Y'all need tenderness too. Y'all need rest, love, care, pampering, and all of that shit too. Y'all need somebody to hold y'all hand and walk y'all through it too. Okay? Y'all need sometimes for someone to be willing and able and just step in and do the work for y'all too. Okay? Not all the time, but the balance of independence and support. Not codependency, but support. We like co-collaboration, okay? And support, but not codependency. Okay? Just want to make sure we are deciphering the differences. And so all the while that's going on, y'all realizing that, y'all deserve to be taken through some step-by-step courses for certain things and giving grace and mercy and tenderness and things of that nature. And all the while, y'all are having to exercise tough love to other people, such as where a lot of you have been just unloading fish upon people, just unloading your cabinets, your refrigerators, and everything to people. As the saying goes, you give a man a fish, they'll eat for a day. You teach a man a fish, they'll eat for a lifetime. So Spirit is saying, y'all are needing to teach some men to fish and stop just giving them all the damn fish sometimes. And if you're struggling to do so, Spirit is saying you may need to ask yourself, what false sense of power do you feel like you're getting from having people rely on you so? And with that said, that wraps up this particular section of this layout. And we're going to get to the actual final card of this layout. Again, this is pinpointing the divinely designed elements of you all's solar plexus chakra that y'all have been demonizing. And here we have the Tower card. Now, needless to say, this is going back to those of you who are struggling, breaking connections that have come up that it's very apparent and will be made very apparent that y'all need to cut off those connections. Y'all need to separate yourselves from those people, those environments, those situations and relationships, okay? So those of you in particular that have been struggling with this for dear life, and you've been finding yourself, whether you've been verbalizing this or not, you've been finding yourself in these positions where you feel like, God, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to just make the decision to separate myself from this person, to draw the line in the sand. So please separate me from this person if they mean me no good. If you've been in that type of energy with it, let alone saying that, and whether or not you have like allowed yourself to face that particular element of it or not, you know that there's a connection going on that is way past this due date of expiration. Spirit is going to crash that train for you, okay? And especially being the fact that this card is sideways and the top of it is to the left, it's likely gonna hurt. You likely gonna cry. You likely gonna be very mad at yourself that you just didn't have the strength to cut it off yourself before it got to this point. However, you know, honor your emotions, allow yourself to feel what you feel, but also don't get stuck there. Remember the messages of the action card. Don't get stuck there. Of course, reevaluate and reconsider the actions of the past that led you there. And if you don't like where you are, stop taking yourself there. By all means, take yourself forward. Take that as a blessing, not only in disguise, but also straight up, that is feeling like a setback, but it's really drawing you back like a pebble in a slingshot to propel you forward. Okay? And another side of this is the lot of you needing to honor the part of you that is divinely destructive. There are some of you that have the divine gift of destruction, meaning y'all have very dark feminine energy, specifically in the matriarchal position. Very dark feminine queen, very dark feminine empress, dark feminine mother type of energy, such as in the Queen of Wands element, as in fire or the sun. Okay, you can bring warmth, but it's more divinely purposed for you all to burn shit to ashes when necessary. That goes back to those messages about chaos for the sake of peace. So in the water element, water replenishes, restores, helps growth. But in excess, and if some shit needs to have chaos for the sake of peace or rehabilitation or things of that nature, floods, monsoons, cyclones, what's the other ones? Tsunamis, things of that nature. Of course, disastrous weather circumstances. However, Mother Nature understands the time and the place that these things have to happen, not just for the sake of one person, but for the sake of the greater good. You feel me? So, you know, they can also be taken into the earth element as, you know, you can take it as like earthquakes, destroying the palaces, destroying the ground that certain shit stands on so that a clean slate can be made and things can be reconstructed. You know, homes being blown down and things of that, you know, the wind element, blowing shit down, uprooting shit to start again, creating clean slates and things of that nature. So, yeah, overall, this layout has given that y'all's divinely designed solar plexus elements that y'all have been demonizing is associated with y'all's divine spiritual gifts, y'all's divine psychic abilities, y'all being reluctant and or afraid and or ashamed to stand in those elements and to own and honor those abilities, and owning the divinely destructive elements of your dark divine feminine essence, in which y'all's is very strong, very prominent. And whereas y'all should have very strong eclipsing energy, meaning a balance in when to shine and when to let the sunlight shine on you for the sake of you being the light, such as, let me break down the analogy here. The sun shines on the earth, heats it up, brings everything to life, lets you know it's a time to be up and at 'em, moving, taking action. Whereas the moon lets us know it's nighttime, it's dark, you can't see as well. However, the light, quote unquote, from the moon, as well as the stars, is helping to navigate to some degree. It's helping you be able to see to some degree. However, nighttime, especially when it's like around midnight and around like 3, 4 o'clock, you know, between those hours, that's referred to as the witching hour, the lunar hour, the moon's hour. A lot of psychic things going on, or as some people would say, the freaks come out at night, all of that. So the thing about it, is moonlight is referred to as moonlight. However, moonlight is still sunlight, starlight, but specifically and most prominently, it's the sun's light shining on the moon. The moon doesn't actually have a way of shining its own light. It doesn't have its own light. So there are two different elements to this analogy, okay? Some people will apply to one or the other. Some people may apply to both. So for some of you, y'all have been convinced that y'all are the moon, that the only reason y'all shine is because of somebody else or some others shining on you and propping you up. But in actuality, the opposite is the truth. You are the sun, and the whole time, everybody else is getting big off of your light. Everybody else is getting shine and getting credit for what you are doing and have done. And that also calls back to that message that was talking about some of y'all needing to stop over explaining your ideas and certain things to people because there's some people stealing your shit. So yeah, there's a consistency of giving y'all's power away and or people taking credit for y'all's stuff and y'all letting them get away with it. So y'all are needing to call y'all's power back to y'all and reclaim y'all's energy, reclaim ownership of y'all's stuff, physically and spiritually. And for the others of you on the other side of this analogy, you are the sun and you also are the moon. And so this may be people who have a fire sign sun and a water sign moon, or vice versa, or you have a fire sign Venus and a water sign Mars, or vice versa, or you have a fire sign rising and a water sign Lilith, or vice versa, or you have water sign rising and Lilith, or fire sign rising and Lilith. And so don't get caught up in those zodiac placements if those don't apply to you, because like I said, it's two different sides to the analogy, so you may resonate with one side of the analogy and not the other. Also, it's a very energetic thing, and if you resonate with this side of the message but you don't have those types of placements, then the people who resonate with those placements, it could just be that the messages that are coming through specifically there are just meant to be like even more emphasized for those specific people. Like those specific people could have been looking for even more clarity and or even louder messaging, or whatever the sort. Different strokes for different folks, different types of uniquities for different things, all of that. But all of that to say, getting to the point, for this particular side of the analogy, y'all are the moon and the sun. Y'all are the sun in the way that you shine on these hoes. You pop out and show niggas like nobody's business. But also, you can flip and be cold on a bitch ass too. Okay, you can go real cold and dark on that motherfucking ass. You can cause all kinds of chaos and confusion. Okay, just as well as you can come back in and lead the way with the lights. And so y'all are needing to not only own and honor that duality, but honor that both sides of that are divine. Both are honorable. Both are admirable as well. And I know ordinarily this would seem like Gemini energy, but it's Pisces. It's Pisces energy. Pisces is the Gemini of the water signs. If you look at their symbols, they even look very similar. There's only a very slight difference between their astrological symboling. But Pisces is duality, as it's two fish swimming in different directions. So it's the opposites attract thing, whereas two different things that in any other time, in any other world, place, element, all of that would not work. Like oil and water do not mix. But in the Pisces element, it does. And so it's the energy of miracles along with it. And that's where a lot of you are needing to get more confidence at. More confidence in how miraculous y'all are. Y'all have the ability of alchemizing miracles effortlessly just by being who y'all are. Y'all are effortless evokers of miracles for yourself and other people. That's why it's heavily important that y'all have really good spiritual hygiene and really good senses of discernment as far as who and what deserves your abilities and your essence, your presence, and who does not. And with all that said, there will be a tower moment that makes all of this even more clear and take a weight off of the lot of y'all's shoulders as it concerns a lot of things, decision making, your perception of certain things, people, situations, yourself, and all of that. And or some of you have probably already experienced this tower moment and you're already experiencing this clarity. And so I hope that a lot of this was very confirming and extra clarifying for you. Now, we are going to get a little deeper and talk about how this may be showing up in y'all's life and impacting y'all's life. So y'all are dealing with counterproductive moon energy. So basically what that gives is one, demonizing moon energy altogether one way or another, and or the moon energy is excessive. It's too much confusion. It's too much chaos. It's too much deception, manipulation, smoke and mirrors type shit going on. And this could be you doing this to yourself, and therefore having moments where you inevitably do it to other people. And this could show up whereas you're surrounded by people like that. You end up surrounded by people who are very fraudulent, two-faced, manipulative, vain, big on smoke and mirrors, more focused and invested on what things look like as opposed to what they actually are. Okay. So just to kind of go through the cards that y'all have here in this layout, from the left of them to the right of them. Now, I'm not asleep. I know that there is some fading and discoloration going on over there to the left of them, particularly to the card that is furthest to the left. I allow that to stay like that because this process is divinely designed as I prayed and manifested for it before I started the reading. So when things like that happen, I let it remain because it is, coming with its own messaging, right? So that card is the compassion card. And that zodiac symbol piece there is the Pisces symbol piece. We'll talk about that momentarily. The card after that is full moon in Aries, a fiery climax approaches. Then we have the Seven of Swords. Then we have the Emperor in reverse, allowance in reverse. And then we have the Cosmic Flower as the final card in this layout. So we're going to take it on back over to that compassion card, which is in reverse. So I'm going to also give y'all some insight on why there is fading showing up there in the spiritual sense. Why there is fading is because, like I said, that is the compassion card. It also came out in reverse. Y'all are lacking compassion. The frequency of compassion surrounding y'all and within y'all is highly lacking. It is hanging by a thread. It is struggling for dear life. It is being suffocated, honey. And a large part of this is going back to that normalized disregard. Okay. A lot of you haven't grown up and had a lot of experiences throughout your young life of people trauma dumping on you and people basically making it your job to be excessively compassionate to everybody else, to a point where you then end up not having any compassion left for yourself, and or feeling like you don't have any compassion left for yourself. And then this creates a frequency and pattern of you constantly attracting people who don't have compassion for you, and or even being attracted to people who are not compassionate with you, being the type of person and or having become the type of person that has a hard time receiving tenderness, receiving compliments, receiving support. So some of you may even fit into the category where when people have tried to give you tenderness and support and love and grace and mercy and all of that, you may even lash out at them, get upset, start saying, why don't fucking tell me that. Don't tell me I did great because I fucked up. Having responses of that nature, or it's not that. I told you it's not that, even though you just said that it was that. And so knowing that you need help and innately asking for help, but then when you get the help, you attack the help. And or this could show up in your life by you attracting people who are like that, okay? So you could fit into one of those categories, or you may fit into all those categories. Pray for clarity on where you fit in. I'm going to read what the card says. The frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our hearts and into the world. And the number on this card is the number 1 and the number 5. You put those numbers together and you get the number 6, which is the number of childhood, inner child. Also is the number of reflections, memories, all of those tangs. It also doubles the energy of the number 3. So this is taking it back to y'all's childhood, y'all's younger days and all of that. Y'all needing to reevaluate certain things from y'all's childhood that y'all thought were good things, or that you have given too much credit. Such as, for instance, as it was brought up that y'all were required to be excessively compassionate to other people, and then therefore losing sight of self-compassion, right? So having to go back and unpack those things and realize and accept with yourself that there may have been people that told you that it was best for you to be excessively compassionate, that you would be rewarded for excessive compassion, which would be ultimately excessive sacrifice, okay? But you're realizing that is a lie. That is not true. So therefore, forgiveness would then have to happen, forgiveness of the self, and then, hopefully that would turn into forgiveness in general. Again, it's not for the other person, it's for you, okay? But, establishing and healing the frequency of forgiveness in general. Because sometimes people are just doing what they know, and sometimes people are truly being malicious. So pray for clarity and, in general, the healing of the frequency of forgiveness. And as far as how to heal this frequency of compassion and redirect that energy back to yourselves, we will elaborate further on that when we get to the next layout. The next card we're going to tap into is a fiery climax approaches, full moon in energy. So this card is coming up to say that the way that this counterproductive moon energy has been showing up in y'all's life is this reoccurrent pattern of the train having to wreck before y'all have a sense of urgency to jump off of it. So this is leading very much so into that tower energy. Whenever this tower moment happens for y'all, again, I know that there are some select few that have already experienced the tower moment, but this tower moment is also meant to make it clear to y'all the importance and the times and places and how to discern the times and places to jump off the train before it crashes, to stop being in situations until the wheels fall off. And Spirit is saying that that excessive sense of compassion is one thing that keeps y'all in these connections, that keeps y'all on the train past the expiration date. It keeps y'all on the train until it crashes. When Spirit be sending y'all signs and signals, and y'all be peeping the signs and signals that are telling y'all, get off the train, get off the train, get off the train. But y'all be like, la 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 la. Or y'all be like, well, I can't leave my friend, or I can't leave such and such. They don't want to get out, da 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 da. Or y'all be like, well, I survived the last train wreck. I think I'll survive this one. Yeah, you might survive, but you might also create a bunch of extra wounds to heal when you just finished healing some wounds. And you still got some other old wounds that, could use some attention. And also, how about we stop normalizing a life of trauma? How about we realize that not only do we deserve a life that is not filled with trauma, but also we can create that for ourselves. And this is not to say that life will ever be perfect. Perfection is a myth, okay? Pain is inevitable. Being hurt is inevitable. But you do not have to live traumatized. You do not have to normalize being traumatized as a lifestyle. And then some of y'all are having a warped sense of uniqueness. And what that means is you're either thinking that, okay, it's that concept. And no offense, y'all, this is how it's coming up though. But it's that concept like what people are saying about Halle Bailey right now. That, she's the victim and all of that. But specifically to the point where there was another girl, Ruby Rose, because Ruby Rose, yes, Ruby Rose. This girl that used to date DVD, and apparently she had come out in the past and said that he was physical with her, and they said that Halle had a response of basically like automatically taking DVD side and shaming her and saying that she was a liar or something of the sort, just for time to play out. And Halle got the same type of dude, the same treatment type thing, because I guess, from a lot of people's perspective, they feel like Halle felt like, oh, Ruby is that type of girl, so that's what she gets. I'm this type of girl, I'm not gonna get that, So that's the example that's coming up here as from the explanation of what Spirit is saying about some of y'all having this warped sense of uniqueness, feeling like because you're the type of person you are, such and such don't apply to you. Or you may have that perspective about someone else. You may feel like, you may have a warped sense of uniqueness, projecting that on someone else, such as you see them as a type of person. So you think that when they're being accused of something, or there are these red flags around them, you're thinking it don't apply to them, or it can't apply to them, because you see them as, quote unquote, a certain type of person, a unique type of person. Or that you and this person are under a unique type of circumstance, that the bond that y'all have is so unique that y'all won't ever experience whatever these red flags are saying the experience is and is going to be. And so Spirit is saying that the tower moment, for those of you that are resonating with that message, and for some of you, it's going to take the tower moment for you to realize that you resonate with that message. But Spirit is saying that tower moment is meant to snap y'all out of that warped sense of uniqueness, of thinking that just because you're this type of unique, or they're that type of unique, or y'all have this bond of uniqueness of a sort, that certain rules and certain circumstances don't and or can't apply to you or them, or y'all's bond. And that can apply in a lot of different ways. And like I said, the tower moment is going to make it clear how it applies for each individual that it applies for. And so with that said, the final wrap up for that card, a fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. It comes along with this also being a cycle, a repetitive cycle, that pathology that had came up, that karmic pathology, generational pathology, all of that had come up is definitely also attached to that, where y'all need to gain a sense of cutting it off before it gets explosive, ending the conversation before it becomes an argument, ending the argument before it becomes a fist fight, ending your generosity before they drain you. Because true enough, there's strength in being able to discern that the train is going to crash, but it's a whole nother level of wisdom to jump off the damn train before it crashes. And that goes back to the affirmations that came up about detaching from the need and desire to always be right. Because some people are staying on the train just to prove to themselves that they were right about knowing that it was going to crash. But really think about it. Is it more of a flex to say that you knew that the train was going to crash, so you stayed on to make sure, but you survived? Or is it more of a flex to say you knew that the train was going to crash, that's why you jumped off, and you saved all your belongings, you can still walk, you ain't in the hospital, you ain't got no hospital bills, you ain't got to worry about no stitches, no crutches, no none of that. You peep shit was shaky and you got the fuck on down and live not only to see another day, but to survive and thrive, honey. Yes, God. Choose your might. Now, moving on. We got this Seven of Swords right here. Now, that goes back to the messages that came up about reoccurrent trickery dickery docs in your life, okay? This counterproductive moon energy showing up with a pattern of different people showing up who are manipulative, two-faced, fraudulent, deceitful, but also lazy little moons who want to come in and just soak up all of your light and take credit for all of your shine. And this is also a lot of destiny swapper energy as well. So y'all are needing to be very careful. Y'all are needing to be very careful, because this is the type of energy that comes up when spirit is trying to communicate to people that shit is serious. Like, basically to value your life more. Like, not only to value yourself and your sense of power and your purpose and all of that, but overall value being alive more. Value the air that you breathe. Value that you woke up this morning. Value the ability of your limbs. Value seeing another day. And again, not just seeing another day, but being alive and actually living. Because what this type of energy turns into and often generates is fatal attraction. People who don't just set out to harm you, but set out to take your life because they feel like you have what they should have, and or you just don't deserve what you have. So they want to omit you and omit your existence altogether. Okay? And I'm not saying that to scare y'all. I'm saying that as this is what's coming up for real. This is spirit giving y'all warnings that, like, basically, y'all have, this is an understatement, but it's to put it in perspective. Y'all have main character energy. Y'all have superstar energy, which is that of the sun energy. And so it gives me the channeled image and vision of Selena and Yolanda. And I'm not saying that this is what will happen to y'all. I'm saying this is the scenario, this is the cautionary tale that spirit is using to put some shit into perspective for y'all. That y'all aren't taking y'all's lives serious. And because of that, y'all are letting any and everybody in and out y'all lives, in and out y'all homes, in and out y'all body, in and out y'all energy. And some of these people, again, don't want to just harm you. They want to take you out. And they don't mind playing the long game. And this is a heavy reason why spirit is emphasizing learn when to heed the signs to jump off of the train before it crashes. Because, yeah, you might discern that the train is going to crash. And you might say, oh, it won't be that bad. Or I'm going to stay on here just to prove that I was right and all of this and that and da-da-da-da. But somebody else might peep that the train is going to crash too. And they might feel like, well, shit, if it's going to crash, we all going to be fucked up anyway. So let me just fuck everybody up. You know, a lot of different ways that, you know, these scenarios can go, which is another reason why heed when to jump off of the train before it crashes. Don't be so curious to see the fallout that you dishonor your intuition by making foolish decisions. Because sometimes your intuition is just for you. Sometimes spirit is sending messages just for you. Sometimes it ain't meant for you to be Raven Baxter and try to intervene and save everybody from the outcome and all of that shit. Sometimes spirit is showing you the exit sign for you to get the fuck out. Not for you to alert everybody and try to take everybody with you and all this other shit. Sometimes spirit is just telling you for you. Take that and get the fuck on. And that segues us perfectly to the Emperor in reverse. Okay? And so that, again, this is showing up in y'all's life where y'all end up with life happening to y'all as opposed to y'all living life and writing y'all's own story. A lot of y'all have gotten too comfortable with, I don't want to say it like this, but this is how it's coming up, relying on trauma. I'm hearing like y'all's life is a movie and y'all have convinced yourselves that y'all have found solace in the trauma by being appreciative that it's giving you stories to tell and it's giving you some form of excitement and, the knowledge that you've gotten from it. But it's a difference between getting knowledge from your experience and getting wisdom. Getting wisdom from your experience is realizing and knowing that you chose to make the most out of your life and your experiences. The experiences didn't make you stronger. People who traumatized you were not setting out to make you stronger. They were setting out to destroy you. They were setting out to take your life. They were setting out to make you weaker. They were setting out to set you back. You chose to propel forward. And the failure to realize that is how you all have been giving your power away, how you all have been giving your credit away. It's how people have been able to steal your shit and run off taking credit for your shit. Because y'all have gotten a little too comfortable with, again, life happening to y'all. And y'all just feeling like, well, God got me through before, God gonna get me through. Yes, but y'all are the emperors and the empress, which means heavy is the head that wears the crown. To whom much is given, much is required. Unlike certain other people where shit may just fall out of the sky for them. And in certain cases in y'all's life, shit has fallen out of the sky for you. In certain other cases in the future, shit will fall out of the sky for you. However, the depth of y'all's purpose requires more proactivity, more declaration from you to source. And that segues us ever so lovely to the allowance card in reverse. And I'm picking up that this allowance card has come out in reverse, elaborating on the warped sense of allowance that I just spoke on concerning y'all feeling like, you're just going with the flow, you just trusting the universe, trusting God, trusting yourself and all of that, when in actuality, you are warping your sense of allowance. Once again, allowing life to happen to you instead of alchemizing, creating a life that happens for you. Meaning we have to take it back from the inside out as opposed to the outside in. Y'all's functionality of allowance has been too external. And so y'all haven't been meeting God halfway the way that you probably think that you have been. I'm going to read from the card. The number on this card is the number 9. So it is the number of endings. It is also a karmic number, particularly representing the crossroads. Hey, now, how many times has that been said, right? So, getting into the frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way, without judgment, without opinion, without fear, and without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. So, to put that together to everything that's been said and what the card is saying, okay? So, once again, taking it from the inside out, right? So, as it says, the frequency of allowance invites us, to be open to whatever comes our way. This doesn't mean that we just accept low vibrational plates, okay? Shout out to Stormy. This don't mean we just allow anybody to put any and everything on our plate. This means we have our ideas and we lay them on the table with spirit. But we don't get too wrapped up in being right. We don't get too wrapped up in being in control. We don't get too wrapped up in the outcome. Because when we put it on the table, we need to allow spirit to be fruitful and multiply with it. Hey now. This is going into the faith that God delivers on their promises, even if it's not in the packaging that we idealized and that we expected. So we must understand that God, including the God in us, okay? God does not want us to be traumatized. God does not want us to have lackluster. God said, be fruitful and multiply. It is the devil who is the lie, okay? Bars. So then we pinpoint open to whatever comes our way without judgment, without opinion, without fear, without resistance. Now, this does not mean overall you don't have no types of opinions or fears or none of that comes up, okay? Your response to it is to allow yourself vigorously despite whatever negativities come up. You allow yourself to press forward on that path towards your intents, doing the work, doing the play, doing all of the things that in a practical sense are needed towards that goal, okay? Which further specifying without neglecting your self-care, without neglecting the leisure, the play, okay? The pampering of it all. You allow yourself to not allow anything to get in your way, be it mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. And so then we pinpoint, when we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. So, Spirit is saying too, expand your understanding of what contracts mean. Contracts, bonds, connections, relationships, but specifically the contractual element of it. Contracts in the form of paperwork, verbal contracts, spiritual contracts, all that. Because in doing your due diligence on expounding your education on what that means, on what contracts are and what they mean and what they entail, and how to break them, renegotiate them, elevate them, dissolve them, all of that shit, it's gonna help your understanding more when it comes to relationships in general. Your relationship with yourself, other people, your relationship with God, and not just the relationships, but loyalty, respect. Okay, things that should be core values of foundations to relationships. Things, elements that stabilize and maintain the strength and durability of relationships. We then move on to the last card in this layout, which is the Cosmic Flower. And we have some repeated numbers of 1, 8, and you put them together and we have the number 9 repeated as well, okay? And I'm going to go ahead, first things first, I feel it channeling through. Spirit is saying that y'all are about to bloom. As long as y'all allow yourselves to. As long as y'all allow yourselves to, y'all are about to really bloom into your divine identity in a longevity sense, okay? And so we really hope y'all allow yourselves to do such, all right? The frequency of the Cosmic Flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home. Hey now, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world, child. The world, Craig, the world. So in that, Spirit is saying, so there has been like a lot of symbolisms and messages surrounding home, recollection, memories, remembrance, okay? Revaluation, the re-re-re's of it all. And I ain't talking about Rihanna. However, there could be a channeling of Rihanna's energy through here, being the fact that she is a Pisces, all right? And she is someone who represents Empress energy, okay? So some of y'all may want to look up to Rihanna in some type of way. She's also embodying Empress energy, being the fact that she is pregnant right now. Pregnant with her third, okay? 3, count them, 3, with her third child. Okay? We got some good Rihanna channeling of energy going on here. Ask Spirit for clarity on what Rihanna is meant to symbolize for you. But yes, y'all are also symbolizing the Cosmic Flower. Y'all are the Cosmic Flower for yourselves, as well as y'all represent that for a lot of people. A lot of people see y'all as a homely place, a place of comfort, a place of safety, of nurturing and providing, of stability that has trusting foundation, which is even more so why y'all have to be careful and very mindful about who y'all let in and out, because y'all embody the essence of home, okay? It's also given that y'all have had a long struggle with finding your sense of home, finding a place that you really feel like you can call home. And so Spirit is calling y'all to reevaluate, reminisce, recollect on your childhood, because while the home that you come from may not be the healthiest, it may not be what you want to call home, but there may be certain experiences that you had, certain people that you remember, certain relationships and things of that nature, certain memories that gave you a sense of home. Spirit is calling you to reminisce on those things and call those things back to you so that you can kind of act as your own guide to find your home, to find the home that you and Spirit has built together and or are building together for you and for your generations to come that you're creating, okay? For others of you, the home that you come from is the home you're needing to be reminded of. You may have come from a good home. You may have come from a good, stable environment that maybe you didn't appreciate as much as you appreciate now. Maybe you may have hyper criticized it to a fault, and you're realizing now that it wasn't as bad as you made it out to be. Okay, so allow yourself, allow yourself to embrace those memories without judgment, without beating yourself up. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know, and or foolish decisions that you may have made despite what you knew. Forgive yourself. And Spirit is also saying that there are people that you're hoping have forgiven you. Spirit is saying that they have. Some of they might be lost loved ones. For some of you, they could be loved ones that are still alive, but y'all just haven't been in connection for a while. Spirit is saying that they have forgiven you. They've already forgiven you. You need to forgive yourself. And then there are others of you where you're wanting forgiveness for certain people, and Spirit is saying that you don't have anything to be forgiven for. In actuality, those people are trying to nail you to a cross that don't exist. And so you're needing to forgive yourself in order to free yourself from that. Pray for clarity on where you fit in and how each one applies to you and or doesn't, okay? If you've been trying to manifest a home, a new place, your own place, Spirit is saying that it's on the table. It's promised. It's there, Okay? The only thing that's stopping it, and I'm hearing that it can literally happen this year. It can literally happen sooner than you think. But you have to stop getting in your own way, whereas you feel like it's not worthwhile, or you're letting other people and their experiences and their fears get in your head and psych you out from committing to the process. And or I'm definitely hearing, the job thing is a concern. And so Spirit is saying the sooner that you believe that the universe is on your side and what you want, and you just start vigorously going towards it, and if one opportunity is not what you're looking for, you know, keep looking for the other opportunity. Even if you embrace the opportunity that is not exactly what you're looking for, and you make the most of it for what it is, keep looking for what you're looking for. Spirit is going to make sure that you find it. Keep going. Stop giving up on yourself. The vigor and the faith that you have so habitually had for other people, you really need to allow yourself to use that for yourself. Like, so serious. Like, the Spirit's literally saying that y'all are in y'all's own way, because y'all are also in other people's way. Like, y'all are in the way of other people's evolution, because y'all keep giving people fish instead of letting them learn how to fish for themselves. And so I'm gonna wrap that up here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get into the calls to action that Spirit has for y'all. The rest, any more calls to action that haven't already come up throughout the reading, we're going to see if it's anything else that Spirit has to say as it concerns calls to action, which y'all need to do to improve this energy, which y'all need to do to stop demonizing these particular elements of y'all solar plexus, to have this stuff stop showing up in your life in this way and stop affecting your life in this way, and all of that. Let's go ahead and get to final layout for y'all calls to action for honoring y'all's divinely designed elements of y'all solar plexus chakra. And we have the Ace of Swords and the Judgment card. They are both in reverse, and they both have very similar messages as well. So both are sideways due to the concept of moderation and balance that has been very prominent throughout y'all's reading. But the Ace of Swords and the Judgment card are very similar, as they have to do with making connections and also making disconnections, as well as making decisions, calling things out, verbalizing things, calling to action, all of that, listening, all of that. So how this applies to y'all is in y'all's divine, to create divine light as well as divine darkness, bring things together as well as destruction. All of this is again about time and place, discerning time and place, as well as how much quantities of things, budgeting of energy, structuring of routines, and distribution. And it's calling attention to a pattern that a lot of you have had of easy come, easy go, making real strong connections real fast and then quickly cutting them off cold turkey. And it's given that this is rooted in a place of fear as well as a place of instability. And so Spirit is saying the clearer you get about your perception of self, and also the more unconditionally accepting you get of yourself, the more you will be able to perceive your divine soul family, and also get better at discerning and deciphering who are just demons with familiar faces. But there is also a need to ask for clarity and focus on discerning those who kind of lie in the middle. They're not soul family, they're not enemies, but they also aren't on your wavelength. They are not like us. They are just not your people. They are not your audience. And no matter how much they may not mean to hurt you or sabotage you or hold you back, they simply do, because they just don't resonate with what you are meant to do. So those two cards in a nutshell are Spirit saying, do your due diligence in your spiritual process to tap in with yourself, to constantly tap in with yourself and meditate with yourself, converse with yourself, evaluate with yourself, study yourself, all of that, so that you can be clear about yourself and who you are in the good ways and the bad ways, the ways that meet in the middle, and all of that, so that you can have a better sense of discernment, a consistently better sense of discernment for who is around you, okay? And who you letting in, who you letting out, and who ain't even stepping into the neighborhood, you feel me? Because this is also tapping into, y'all seem to be the group of people who are spiritual leaders, spiritual workers, one way or another. And it's given that thing where you're really good at guiding everybody else and providing clarity and giving all the answers to everybody else. But then when it comes to your own shit, it's dark and you can't see a thing. And so Spirit is coming through in this phase of your life to help hold your hand through the process of navigating all of those things. Where you been, where you are, where you going, who you been, who you are, who you're gonna be. And all of these resources, gifts, blessings, curses, darkness, lights, and all of that shit that you got, all of that necessary baggage that you got, and how to use it. Because I can hear y'all saying, like, you so grateful, and also carrying this guilt of feeling overwhelmed by everything that you have, because it's like, that even the stuff that feels like a curse is also a blessing, in that everything that you have, regardless of what it is, you can and you're meant to transmute it into blessings. But you just feel so overwhelmed because you feel so old and so young at the same time. And ooh, wee child, I understand they're feeling so good. And Spirit is channeling through and saying they understand, they see you, they hear you, they feel you. And they're coming through to hold your hand and put you around people that will hold your hand and hug you and love you and patiently and compassionately guide you and help you guide yourself and help support you guiding yourself through this journey that you're in. And the biggest part for this collective is allowing it. Allowing it, allowing yourself to allow yourself, allowance, honey. And all that being said, we perfectly segue into the final card of the entire reading. And for this card, I am not going to do a hell of a lot of channeling. What I am going to say about this card is that it is pinpointing significantly that y'all of this collective, y'all have a huge divine purpose of, as I said, but it's being heavily reiterated and heavily confirmed by way of this Earth Warrior card that came out for y'all. Abuela medicine, okay? The number 23 at that, 2-3, you get 5, drastic change, as well as wholeness and balance, booski. And it is the remedy of the grandmothers. This is the torch being passed down to y'all, the crown being passed down to y'all by way of matriarchal and patriarchal ancestors. This is huge. And so this phase, this journey that y'all are in and embarking on, it's infinitive. Like what you're sowing and reaping and creating in this phase is going to last infinitively. Like, of course, you will have a bunch of other different sub cycles within this cycle. Of course, you know, you're living, you're growing, you're evolving, and all of that. That's life. However, this phase that y'all are in is the phase. It's y'all literally taking the steps into your divine purpose, your divine identity, your divine path. So honestly, it makes sense why y'all have a, you know, warped sense of uniqueness, because y'all are unique as fuck. Y'all are legit unique beyond all belief. It's just having to remember also that you are still human, you know? But all of that to say, y'all are stepping into y'all's crown. Y'all are stepping upon y'all's throne. And it does have huge responsibilities. And that's why y'all have had to learn so much, so soon, so young, so fast, so that you can not only handle this position with the responsibility and everything that it requires and the divinity that it requires, but also so you can enjoy it without destroying it, amongst without allowing people in that will destroy it. And with that being said, let's get to the book. Because Spirit wants me to allow y'all to do y'all work. Spirit wants me to practice what's been preached throughout this reading to teach y'all how to fish, honey. So I'm going to do that by way of the book. Let me find out I'm in a group with y'all. Hey now. Let me find out I'm a part of group 3. Come on, gang. Yeah, I am a Leo. I see that Leo, what you call it right there? My moon is in Pisces. What? Hey, let me find out we gang, y'all. Oh shit, and my rising and my Lilith are in Leo. Oh, bitch. We failed, y'all. We failed. Hey, I'm giving y'all a fist bump through the screen. Y'all can't see it, but I hope you can feel the energy transfer through the screen as I'm giving y'all a fist bump. That's it right there. Yeah. I know y'all missed it. I thank y'all. Yeah. Now, before I get to the reading, let me let y'all know. Y'all can screen record this. Y'all can take a screenshot of the card. I may put a picture of the prayer passage in the outro or something of the sort. But just know you can use what I'm about to read off for your meditations as a part of your lifestyle. It doesn't just have to be for just one session or for just one thing or whatever. This card is for y'all. This card and like the meditation and all of that I'm about to read off, it's not just for the solar plexus. It's not just for this reading and all of that. It is for y'all. And that's also what makes this group so special, because neither of the other groups had that this type of thing happen. I may have used the Earth Warrior deck in one of the other groups, but it wasn't in this way. Like, it didn't channel through in this way with this particular purpose that Spirit is calling me to and for y'all. So yeah, go ahead and get into it. Like I said, feel free to screen record this. I might put the picture up for y'all to take a screenshot, whatever, what have you. But yeah, all right. So number 23, Abuela medicine, remedy of the grandmothers. Believe in the formidable power of healing, of the transformation that it can provide for all aspects of your being and your life. Medicine comes in many forms from Great Spirit to facilitate healing of body, of mind, and of soul. Whether it is the correction of unhelpful habits, of thought, guidance for the practical steps to resolve a physical imbalance, or deep soul healing that frees you into fulfillment of your divine potential. There is no limit to what can be healed through grace. A current of divine healing is flowing to you and through you now. Open yourself up to participate in a beautiful healing transformation. You are meant to understand how it is that you are a healer in your own unique way, whether that be professionally or in how you are as a person in the world more generally, as a part of your life journey. Have you been the warrior carrying on regardless of a deep wound that makes your life and work in the world more difficult? Grandmother medicine typically relates to the use of plants through various disciplines to promote healing of the mind and body. However, the oracle speaks of a broader interpretation. It indicates a time when earthly steps on your healing journey will be supported and guided by spirit for truly inspiring results. Heaven and earth are intersecting, and when that happens, the practice of various types of physical world medicine can become a channel for divine blessing. It will provide you with a feeling of harmony between the celestial and the earthly, a sense of masculine and feminine energies working together for the same purpose. You will no longer feel divided within yourself, pulled in competing directions, or conflicted about key aspects of your life and belief systems. This is healing. All things coming together in right order, working with rather than against each other for loving higher purpose. And right there, Spirit tells me to interject and refer y'all back to the analogy that was given about the sun and the moon earlier. Here's another side that is channeling through in this moment with this particular card. The sun and the moon working with each other. These are two starkly different beings coming together to work with each other for a greater purpose. Okay? And I'm going to let your mind work and run on the multitude of benefits that come from the sun and the moon working together, along with this earth that we live on. And that in itself is an example of the concepts of the divine angel number 3. The commencement of the healing journey demands a period of purification, a cleansing that will support the release of toxins of body, mind, and soul, so that true vitality, well-being, and divine beauty can manifest unimpeded. The basis of all true healing is a shift in consciousness so powerful that it alters not only mind, but eventually soul and physiology as well. So just to interject and bring some clarity in a more simplistic sense, like when someone is trying to lose weight, it's really keen to understand that the physical issue is a manifestation of a mental, emotional, and or spiritual issue. So in order to heal the body, you have to heal the mind and the soul. Now I'm gonna pop back into the book and then I'm gonna come back and finish that off, okay? Now, back into the book. If one attempts to shift consciousness without adequate preparation, the process can be destabilizing, generating unnecessary disorder and confusion. So, this me popping back in, going back to the, workout plan, losing weight analogy. If you commit to a workout plan without checking in mentally, emotionally, and spiritually constantly, then the workout plan is going to be destabilizing. What should be a healing journey will turn into a traumatizing one. It will become unstable, destabilizing. It can result in more frustration and depression more than anything else, let alone healing. And that kind of ties back to what I was communicating also about the memory sifting. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Because what this is tapping into and explaining in the book when it gets to, a commencement for the healing journey is preparing for the cure, preparing for the parts of yourself, the parts of your life, the parts of your internal and external being, life, environment, and all of that, creating resistance. Because also, even in a workout journey, in order to build up your muscle and build up your endurance, you have to up the resistance. Like you get on a bike, you up the resistance, the stronger you get, right? Or the stronger you want to get, you up that resistance, you up that incline so that you can test your might. Okay? So that's being implemented to emphasize that spirit is not picking on you. And that's going also back to those messages that was coming out about the crabs in the bucket that's going to come out, the Sinners movie channeling through, potential vampires coming through trying to convince you to stay where you are and join them and all of this other shit. Yeah, it's tapping into that. It's not just God picking on you or, anything like that. When you're gearing towards evolution, you're trying to grow, you're trying to evolve, then you have to enhance the resistance. And that same fact is true even when you are committing to a workout journey, a physical workout journey. That's why in order to heal the body, you first must heal the mind. Because when that resistance starts happening, you're going to need the discernment to perceive it as a part of what you prayed for. Pain with a purpose. Pain for your purpose, as opposed to ops bringing you pain, trying to get in the way of your purpose. Okay? And sometimes they can be the same thing, which is why you got to stay tapped in with your higher self, your inner God, okay? Your divine realm, your spiritual co-collaboration. And other people may not have to as much as y'all, but y'all do, not because y'all are weak, but because y'all are that much stronger. Crazy, right? You'll understand more as you go through the process. House of Never, y'all are about to learn that it don't have to be so hard. Y'all are about to learn the softness that is within y'all's strength. And the softness that y'all's strength has earned you. But let's get back to the book, okay? So, becoming ready for the medicine means preparing for the cure. Also, this is based on approaching the power of earth with due respect. It is not about trying to force an outcome that you wish. It is about cleansing and opening the self to the gift of what is given from Earth Mother and Great Spirit. It is not about controlling the healing flow, but of readying oneself for it to be received. That means surrendering attachment and resting and cleansing the body and mind through practices that work for you. That's my way of verbally highlighting the text. But back to the text. That means surrendering attachment and resting and cleansing the body and mind through practices that work for you, so that you are open to the certain change that healing will bring. It means practicing unconditional trust, because divine timing may sometimes express kindness through delays. It means gently but surely dislodging your belief in the fixed reality of your own experience, even if an issue has been present for decades, so that you are loose and limber, ready to be reformed, recreated through the healing genius of heaven and earth, in intelligent, creative relationship, expressing their unconditional love for you. And so, to put that in a nutshell for y'all, sometimes the cure is the cause is the cure. So, in order to get what you're asking for, you're going to have to experience a boss level of what you've been experiencing in order to get to the other side. So, you want change? You got to cut off everything that is normal to you. And you have to be prepared for all of that shit to run back, trying to hug you, trying to smack you in the face, trying to kiss you in the mouth, trying to talk, trying to do all of the things. You got to be prepared for some people to not come back, to not try to fight for you, to not try to talk to you, to not try to come back and give you a hug, to not try to convince you of anything. And be in that and respond impulsively. Do your routine. Do your daily work, so that when these things happen, you trust yourself to respond impulsively, and therefore trust yourself to do and say whatever it is that needs to be done to assure that in a longevity sense, you end up where your destiny is. Y'all are about to be in positions where you put yourself in position to face your fear of losing everything, where basically you sacrifice it. And some of you have already done this. Some of you have already cut those ties, have already done your sabotaging or your isolating to a fault or whatever, what have you. And now you're dealing with, whatever that quote unquote fallout is, and trying to figure out how to navigate the journey that's come as a result of that. But in the general consensus, it's y'all facing y'all fear of losing everything by throwing it all away, so that you can see what is truly yours, what is truly meant for you, so you can see who you truly are outside of all those people and outside of all those things. Again, so that you can see who and what is truly yours and who and what truly is not. Now, all of that will be made even more clearer by way of your own intuition, because that's going to apply in different unique ways to each individual. And also, as you go throughout your journey and through those tower moments, it's going to make even more sense to you how that applies to you on an individual level. Most certainly, if you allow it to, honey. Now, this is the part where y'all really need to turn the volume up, and y'all really need to screen record if that's what you're going to do. Because this is the part that is really directly conducive to active meditational processes, okay? Here we go. The healing process, and it directs: connect with nature in person if possible, or by looking at images such as the oracle card image, and listening to nature sounds if appropriate. Imagine, feel, or intend that you are relaxing not only your body and mind, but your soul too. Relaxing and opening to the presence of the natural world. Allow yourself to feel held by this loving, sacred energy. This is the soul of the Earth Mother. When you are ready, say the following invocation aloud, if possible. The divine healing presence is now created through the loving union of Earth Mother and Great Spirit. I surrender into the medicinal alchemy of divine love at work within all facets of my being now, so that any and all issues of my body, mind, and soul that can benefit from divine healing are now blessed for recovery. Through grace of divine timing and compassion of Grandmother Healer, I ask to be shown clear steps for my healing benefits, that I may experience true healing and become a channel for such true healing in the world. So be it. Relax. And in your meditation, prayer, whatever what have you, you would complete that chant, that affirmation, that prayer, that saying with your namaste, I say, your amen, whatever you say to divinely close out and give thanks to your divine channeling, meditation, prayer, experience, session, all that. Woo, well, child, that was a lot, honey. That was a whole lot. Y'all literally have the longest reading. I did not expect all of that, but it is greatly appreciated. And as deep as that was, it felt good. It felt healing. So I have very, very high hopes for y'all. I have high hopes for all of my groups. But the uniquity that came, I don't even know if that's a word, child, but the uniqueness that came along with this particular reading and group, I gotta give it credit for what it is. Y'all are unique as fuck, okay? And so I feel that shit, and I feel like we gang. You know what I'm saying? Especially being the fact that I don't tap too deeply into the like little symbolism trinkets that I have up here. They are there for a reason, but I mostly allow y'all to, it's mostly there for aesthetics and also for y'all to use y'all's own sense of discernment to decipher what it means to you and how it applies to the messages that come out that y'all feel like y'all resonate to and all of that. So as it concerns like the zodiac pieces that I have here, I did not go looking for them. I energetically and spiritually channeled for them just like I did everything else. And that's what came out. And they so happen to also be my sun, rising, Lilith, and moon sign. My sun, rising, and Lilith are all Leo, and my moon sign is Pisces. And so amongst like certain other parts of the reading, I feel like I highly resonated with this group. You know, I feel like it's different parts of each group that I resonate with, but I ain't gonna lie, I feel like I resonated with this group a hell of a lot. A unique amount of a lot. But child, that's for me to know and for me to decide if I want to go more in depth into in a story time or some story times later on. But with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry, and I'm thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quarters for the next time. And be sure to bless that comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in all ways light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.